Hi, it's my favorite time of day, the time of day when I get to read a good book to you. Today we're going to read one of my favorite books. It's called Each Kindness by Jacqueline Woodson and E.B.Lewis. And in my classroom we talk a lot about kindness. We talk about the ripple effect that kindness can have. That one act of kindness can inspire others to do the same, and it can have a ripple effect, and that's what this book is all about. This is a great book. I suggest you buy it or get it at the library, and if you're a teacher, add it to your classroom library because it's a great one. That winter, snow fell on everything, turning the world a brilliant white. One morning, as we settled into our seats, the classroom door opened and the principal came in. She had a girl with her, and she said to us, "This is Maya." Maya looked down at the floor. I think I heard her whisper, "Hello." We all stared at her. Her coat was open, and the clothes beneath it looked old and ragged. Her shoes were spring shoes, not meant for the snow. A strap on one of them had broken. How do you think Maya's feeling right now? I think you might be right. The author doesn't tell us in the text exactly how she's feeling, but we can get clues from the text and from the illustration. Look at this great illustration. You see how she's looking down, she's not making eye contact, she's holding her teacher's hand. Those all give us clues that she's kind of nervous, scared, shy. And the author doesn't have to say that to us in those exact words. We can figure that out. We can make an inference about how she's feeling. Our teacher, Miss Albert, said, "Say good morning to our new student." But most of us were silent. The only empty seat was next to me. That's where our teacher put Maya. And on that first day, Maya turned to me and smiled. But I didn't smile back. I moved my chair, myself, and my books a little farther away from her. When she looked my way, I turned to the window and stared out at the snow. And every day after that, when Maya came into the classroom, I looked away and didn't smile back. Why do you think the kids were silent when the teacher asked them to say hello? And now this girl's moving away from her. She's not even looking at her. Why would they act like that? How do you think that makes her feel? That's a good thing to talk about with your parents or your teacher or someone around you. My best friends that year were Kendra and Sophie. At lunchtime, we walked around the schoolyard, our fingers laced together, whispering secrets into each other's ears. One day, while we were near the slide, Maya came over to us. She held open her hand to show us the shiny jacks and tiny red ball she'd gotten for her birthday. "It's a high bouncer," she said. But none of us wanted to play. So Maya played a game against herself. That afternoon, when we got back into the classroom, Maya whispered to me, "Bet you can't guess who the new Jacks champion of the world is." Behind me, Andrew whispered, "Chloe's got a new friend, Chloe's got a new friend." "She's not my friend," I whispered back. The weeks passed. Every day we whispered about Maya, laughing at her clothes, her shoes, the strange food she brought for lunch. Some days Maya held out her hand to show us what she'd brought to school. A deck of cards, pick-up sticks, a small tattered doll. Whenever she asked us to play, we said no. Look at her face. How do you think she feels? How would you feel? Have you ever been in a similar situation where you're trying to be friends with someone and they're not giving you any attention? It doesn't feel good. The days grew warmer and warmer. The pond thawed. Grass began growing where snow had once been. One day Maya came to school wearing a pretty dress and fancy shoes, but the shoes and dress looked like they'd belonged to another girl before Maya. I have a new name for her, Kendra whispered. Never knew. Everything she has came from a second-hand store. We all laughed. Maya stood by the fence. She was holding a jump rope, but did not come over to us to see if we wanted to play. After a while, she folded it double, rolled the ends around each hand, and started jumping. She jumped around the whole schoolyard without stopping. She didn't look up once, just jumped, jumped, jumped. The next day, Maya's seat was empty. In class that morning, we were talking about kindness. Ms. Albert had brought a big bowl into class and filled it with water. We all gathered around her desk and watched her drop a small stone into it. Tiny waves rippled out away from the stone. This is what kindness does, Ms. Albert said. Each little thing we do goes out like a ripple into the world. Then Ms. Albert let us each drop the stone in as we told her what kind things we had done. Joseph had held the door for his grandmother. Kendra helped change her baby brother's diaper. Even mean old Andrew had done something. I carried teacher's books up the stairs, he said, and Miss Albert said it was true. I stood there holding Miss Albert's rock in my hand, silent. Even small things count, Miss Albert said gently, but I couldn't think of anything and passed the stone on. Maya didn't come to school the next day, or the day after that. Each morning I walked to school slowly, hoping this would be the day Maya returned and she'd look at me and smile. I promised myself this would be the day I smiled back. Each kindness, Miss Albert had said, makes the whole world a little bit better. But Maya's seat remained empty, and one day Miss Albert announced to the class that Maya wouldn't be coming back. Her family had to move away, Miss Albert said. Then she told us to take out our notebooks. It was time for spelling. That afternoon I walked home alone. When I reached the pond, my throat filled with all the things I wished I would have said to Maya. Each kindness I had never shown. I threw small stones into it over and over, watching the way the water rippled out and away, like each kindness, done and not done, like every girl somewhere, holding a small gift out to someone, and that someone turning away from it. I watched the water ripple as the sun set through the maples, and the chance of a kindness with Maya becoming more and more forever gone. And that's the end. I really like this book. I want to ask you, what did the kids look at when they first saw Maya and throughout the book? They just looked at her appearance, her old clothes, her old shoes. If you could look beyond that, what kind of person could you see in Maya? Maybe you could talk about that with someone around you, or your teacher, or your parents, or yourself, because it's good to talk to yourself while you're reading so you understand the story. If you could look beyond that, I think that you would have found a person who was imaginative, because she played by herself, right? She was eager to share. She was friendly, for sure. She kept trying to be their friend. But they couldn't look beyond the appearances. Do you think she would have made a good friend? I do too. And I think Chloe's really the one that missed out in this story. How do you think she felt at the end? You can tell by the illustrations how she felt at the end as well. Because I would agree that I think she was regretful, maybe feeling a bit guilty, wishing she had done things differently. And sometimes you don't get a second chance to do that. So that's why it's important that we show kindness every chance we get. All right, I really hope you liked this book. And if you did, check out some of the other books on this channel about being kind and accepting each other and ourselves. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye, Kelsey.